Welcome to the Courier 13 podcast. Our goal with this show is to present conversations among filmmakers that impart knowledge and inspiration to people who are currently making cinematic content, or for those who aspire to make movies and television but don't have the know-how yet to start, or for people who are just fascinated by the filmmaking process and the entertainment industry. Is everything?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty
everything's
good.
Good.
Yeah, I just finished work. So we are here, ready to go.
We are here in this interview right now, in this conversation. More of a conversation, I would say. I wouldn't
Yes.
This is an interview. Interviews,
even if we are asking questions to each other, but it's more of it's a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, because there's so many things that I have yet to learn about you. And really, we didn't. Because you came on 3 episodes ago with Stuart, and then we did Alex and Roseanne, but we never really got a chance. Aside from that brief introduction in Stu's episode, we really didn't get a chance to fully introduce you and have a conversation that was just for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to do that.
It definitely works for both ways because we're still both trying to get to know each other. So I think that's really good.
That is.
So this episode is different. It's different. So, we can't really speak from experience. We can, but not like we're industry professionals.
It's important for people to understand that we are just beginning our professional careers as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important for people to know that when we ask these filmmakers questions, we are coming from a place of wanting to know more and to learn more.
Mm-hmm.
Just like our audience. We're kind of in the boat with them in that way.
100%. You're about to graduate in a couple weeks, right?
Days. I graduate from film school from DePaul University on the 12th officially. So yeah, 4 days. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and then
I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
No one has said that yet. I'm joking. People have said that.
Okay. If no one has said it before, then I am happy to be the first.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we were talking about this on the phone earlier. Film school was dope. DePaul was dope, and Columbia was for you amazing. But
yeah, 100%.
There comes a time when you the learning never ends, but you have to start learning. You have to continue to learn, but not in the closed off, safe environment of school.
Yeah.
You have to really dive in.
I feel like, yes. When it comes to getting an industry job, it's kind of scary at first because you obviously know that they are more advanced and everything. And even if you did learn stuff in school, it's still kind of nerve-wracking because you see all these other industry professionals. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And then in school, we are... No, you're fine.
What is your job?
Fine.
What is your job? I don't even know that.
No. Okay. So currently I work with NALEAP, which is a National Association for Latino Producers. And I am a digital intern / volunteer. And basically they give me assignments to do. And I have to, currently I have 3 videos to edit for their social media. And I just started this week. So they gave me these 3 assignments yesterday. They're due tomorrow on Wednesday. And then on Friday, that movie In the Heights that's coming out this weekend?
Yeah. Based on the Lin-Manuel Miranda musical. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I am going to go to the screening and I'm going to grab B-roll for the whole event. So I'm gonna
wow.
have to, yeah.
And then
So I'm
you
gonna be like
edit
the
that, and is that then going to be like promotion for something, like for the film?
yes. So it's kind of like they have this thing called an LGO, and the LGO is a Latinx. Oh my gosh, I forgot what the wording was.
Oh my
But
God, she forgot
I'm
what it
sorry. I'm
means.
sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine.
But basically, they are going to be running the event, and the LGO basically brings more awareness to the Latino community and all the Latino creatives and everyone that wants to get into the industry that is part of the Latino community. And they also work with other minorities, but at the current moment, they are focusing on In the Heights, which is going to bring a lot of Latinos or Latinx people together for this film. And then in the screening, you get a little bit of time to connect before, and you watch the movie after. And then you still get time to connect with other people after the event. And we're going to have to interview people as well during the event also.
For what
So
purposes?
yes. Mm-hmm.
For
For
what?
just to, it's kind of like a media fest. It's a Latin Media Fest 2021.
But why are you
2020 was
interviewing?
virtual.
Why are you
Oh,
interviewing?
these people.
Yeah.
So basically, most of them are going to be like the producers that worked on the movie or the other creatives that showed up to the event. So it's gonna have like a little red carpet for them.
Got it.
And we're gonna talk about what they do and why they think that it's important to bring, more awareness into the Latino community. So we're gonna be interviewing and taking all this B-roll. So it's gonna be intense. So that's gonna be my first big project for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And is the purpose of your organization to basically just foster networking for Latinx filmmakers? Is that like the main goal?
Yes. So we like to, or they like to bring in connections for people that want to get their foot in the door, and it's a great way to communicate with people. Like a really famous actress, Kate del Castillo, she's from Mexico. She knows about Nalip, and so it's just a great connection. They have like women in film, and then it's like personally like just people of color, like, or women people of color and all that, and then they just bring them together. So we get to connect with, like, for example, all the interns that are in there right now. We get to connect with those industry professionals, and they just don't bring in, directors. They bring in producers, makeup artists, editors, like the basic people that are working in the industry as well. So it works. It works really well. So we bring more awareness to the people that want to create more stories in the Latino community.
That's amazing. How
Mm-hmm.
how did you get this job?
So my dean, or like, she's one of my teachers from school. Her name was Karen Loop. She found this job. She mentioned it to someone else that worked there that I was Latina, so that when I applied to the job, that they would keep an eye out for my resume. And then I went to their website and applied for their digital intern post that they had up. And so I applied, and then they interviewed me like once, like in the first. It took them like 2 weeks to interview, to like send me the thing or whatever. We would like to interview you, and then it took them another 2 weeks, and they gave me some assignments for the interview, for the next interview. So I did that, and then
What were the assignments? Just like
I
editing?
just had to edit some videos, like
Okay.
whichever way that we wanted to. And then it was like the first time that I did closed captioning on a video.
Oh wow.
So I had never done that before, and I had to find like the perfect closed captions that would fit in the in the video and that you would still be able to see. And it was kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was definitely, because I had to type it out myself in the in Adobe Premiere, and I had never done that before. And then I was just made aware today that there's another website where we can just put in the audio track in there, and then it does it
Yes.
for us.
No, that I do know. I mean, I've never closed captioned anything like that before, but I do know that is a thing. I'm sorry that you had to figure that out
Today.
after you figured that out today. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, it's good. You know how to do it. You know how to do it like legit. You know how to do it. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
I'm glad I'm gonna know. No, it's fine. I'm glad I know now instead of, before any other big panels that we have in the future.
Yeah.
So
right.
now I know where to go. So
No, that's really cool because the thing is, it's cool to know like how it's good to hear from other filmmakers like us, like how we get internships and how we get jobs, because for filmmakers, people who just want to work in the entertainment industry, that's always the biggest point of anxiety. People are like, how do I get my first job? How do I get my first internship? Yeah, it
Yes.
was funny. The first major film internship that I did, it's funny because it didn't, like, now that I track it all back, it doesn't even make any sense. It's like,
How so?
but it's because like I was working like a part-time job for DePaul University, but it was at the Department of Finance. I hated this job. And I think I've talked about it on the podcast before, but I just hated this job. I was just doing it for money. I was just doing it because I needed the part-time job. I needed some spending money, college kid. I needed some spending money. But I hated going in it was like became the bane of my existence. And I would always have to jump.
How did you even get the financing job?
That was a roommate of mine, because I needed a job, and he was like, "Oh, there's an opening at this department." I was like, "I mean, okay, Department of Finance. I know very little about finance, but sure, like let's do it. Let's do it." Because it was a desk receptionist job.
Yeah.
Making copies, printing stuff out, Excel sheets, which I despise Excel sheets, but
me too. I understand.
But it was one of those jobs. It was one of those things. But then it was funny. It was like the director of communications within the finance department, whom I developed a close relationship with. His name was Eric Holst. Eric Holst.
Okay.
Yes. And he used to be one of the main operating directors of Facets. I don't know if you know what Facets is.
Okay.
It's right by DePaul. It's like this historic theater / restoration facility for old films. And they hold the annual Chicago Children's Film Festival every year. That's like their big event that they do every year. And he was like their director, and I was like, I need an internship. I've been trying, and I just haven't been able to find the connections to help me get one. And he was like, I used to. And his wife still worked at Facets.
Oh, okay.
Like, oh yeah, you should go for an interview, and then I'll tell my wife that you're a decent guy. and then it was that. But like, I'm just saying, I guess maybe like the moral of the story is you just never know who that person will be that will lead you to that next thing. Like, you just never know. Which I guess that's not really helpful for people. Like, that doesn't quell people's anxiety,
No, but I feel like it does teach people to be prepared, because you never know.
Right. Well, yes, it teaches people to be prepared, and it teaches you not to, like, what's the right, like, metaphor? Like, don't count your chickens
Get
before they
discouraged?
hatch. Like, don't
Oh, okay.
don't assume that. Well, I'm
Don't
doing.
jump the gun.
Yeah, don't jump the gun. Like, don't assume like, oh, I'm in this terrible job, and everyone here isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I just assumed that everyone there was in finance and I didn't develop this relationship with this guy, then I wouldn't have done facets, which would not have set me up for my other two internships that would follow after that. Um, but all of my internships and all of my film related work in general has been through, I was like referred, or
Okay, yeah.
like even on
Mm-hmm.
like gigs or like student films, or like or even I just finished PAing for The Shy, that show on Showtime, and
Yeah.
I got a text from this guy Phil, who I hadn't seen in like 2 years, and he was like, "You want to PA on this set?" And I was like, "Cool." You just, but it's just like, you never know. You never
Yeah.
know when a relationship, when someone will call you, like when someone will be like, "Hey, I remember you. You were nice. You did a good job."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, how did the reference or the referral go from your last internship before State Street? Who did you just find it or did
State Street is interesting. I wasn't like,
Okay.
because I went from Facets and then I went to Romark Entertainment, which is a production company in Los Angeles,
Mm-hmm.
and they're also an agency. Also, I think
Okay.
they have that dual function,
Mm-hmm.
because they also represent writers and talent. They
What's the company called again? Sorry.
Romark Entertainment,
Okay, Rural Mark Entertainment. Cool.
um, and I had a pretty good internship with them. Um, it was nice to be doing that internship during the pandemic, like, coming back to school and having an internship that was, I was doing some real script coverage. I was doing like, I was, meeting some cool people, having some really great, insightful conversations with industry professionals. Um, but I wasn't. Romar didn't refer me to State Street. I met Bob Title, who's been on the podcast and who was the co-founder of State Street. He
Yes.
was my teacher. He was my instructor in a class
No
at DePaul.
way. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
he
Okay.
teaches. Yeah, he teaches at. I don't know if he teaches like every quarter.
Mm-hmm.
He might, obviously, depending on his schedule, he'll pick and choose, because I think he's. I think right now their State Street is like shooting a pilot, so I don't think he'd be teaching now there. But like,
What pilot are they shooting right now?
I didn't. Lawrence mentioned it in a meeting, but he didn't say the name. I don't think he would even tell us
Okay.
what it is.
Right.
He probably
Okay.
would. I should probably just ask him. I should just be like, "Yo, what's," or just like a log line, like, what is this? Because he keeps
Is the
talking about
last
it.
meeting Yeah, is the last meeting for you guys this week?
I think my last week is not this week. It's next week.
Okay.
Is my
Oh,
last
next
week.
week. Okay.
Yeah. I gotta I gotta finish like 3 covers.
Coverage. Yes.
Yes. Love it. I mean,
Coverages.
I do like coverages. Sometimes doing coverage though is annoying.
It is really annoying. It's
It depends on
tedious.
like how much stuff you got going on. Like if you're a student and you have like finals, coverages just feels daunting. I don't know.
Yeah.
And for those who
100%.
don't know what we are talking about, script coverages, when when you're interning at a production company, or one of the first jobs that you can get in Hollywood, normally, especially if you want to go on the screenwriting producer track, is
Yes.
script reading. So basically what you do is you're paid by the studio as a script reader, and the scripts that come in that have the potential of being made by the studio, you'll read them and you'll essentially be like, you'll recommend or you'll pass. You'll be like, and of course you'll write down why, and you'll give a synopsis of the script and a log line and all that. And you'll basically, it's almost like a report card for the script. Like you basically say, this is why I think we should look into this further, or here's why this would not be right for us. It's not, or the writing is not
Yeah.
up to par.
Yeah. There was definitely a lot of bad scripts that I did not like or enjoy. They were cringy. There
Oh
was
yeah.
like two that I did enjoy, and that's it. Out of all the coverage that I had to do, I only enjoyed doing two of them. I don't know why. Because some of the
No, I mean
most of
that's
the
not that surprising. I mean, most of the scripts
no,
you
yeah.
read is like, at best, they're like meh. It's. I mean, you do get good. I mean, you do get solid scripts, but
Hmm.
they're not the majority. The majority of
No.
scripts don't hit you like a really good script does.
Yeah. I got one called The Bad Thing, and it was honestly so good and so creative. Um, so basically, this
Are
kid,
we
he has an
legally
alter
allowed
ego.
to talk about this? I
Mm,
mean, I think it's fine.
it's
It don't,
fine. I mean,
don't give us the whole story, and don't tell us who wrote it.
no.
Yeah.
So I'll give you
Why
like
was it?
a,
Yeah, why was it like so creative? Like, well, what about it was so dope?
it was, so basically, this teenager, he has an alter ego inside of him, and he just doesn't figure it out up until like his second day of school. And this kid, he's mostly like bullied a lot, so this alter ego is the complete opposite of him, and he sometimes possesses like this kid, like the alter ego takes over.
It's kind of like a
And
split. Like you see the movie The Split
yeah.
by M. Night Shyamalan. It's kind of like that.
Mhm.
It sounds like.
Yes, but it just gives us like the teen angst, that people love to see on TV, especially in this current era.
Okay, so it's a
But
TV show and an angsty
mhm,
lead who is violent at times.
in the inside, yeah.
Okay,
But
but
the catch is,
he doesn't like kill people. Okay, well let's not talk
mm,
about that. I mean,
yeah, no.
we don't want to spoil it. We don't want to get like fined or anything for this.
Yeah, no.
I don't even know what the process would be. Would I guess Lawrence would be like,
Don't do that.
don't do that. No. Yeah, but I mean, it does make you feel better.
Hmm.
And I don't know if this is nice of me to say, but it's, I mean, it's kind of like you read a good amount of scripts that are going in, that are filtering through this just saturated place with so many scripts and so many people giving people their material. Like you're
Hmm.
like, oh, you realize that the majority of it, um with practice and with and with like honing in your skills, you can. I'm like, I could be better than this, absolutely, without a doubt,
Yes, 100%.
It's like, and I mean, I don't say that in like a, at least I'm trying not to say it in a pretentious, like I'm a god or I'm amazing kind of way,
Film student, yeah, film student,
but
yeah.
I mean, I trust me, I know I have a lot more scripts to write and I have a lot more things to learn, but I'm only, it's, I mean, you never reach your pinnacle, but like it's but I mean, like, you realize that the bar isn't crazy high, which is a little sad, but uh that's
Yeah, I
one of
mean,
the things that kind of breaks your heart a little bit.
yes. You reading coverage, it kind of makes you see that a lot of the writing is at the same level as yours, or yours even sometimes might be better.
Yeah.
Sometimes, not to be like pretentious or anything, but it's
No, it's just like
true.
you're objectively looking at it and you're like, I mean, my stories are way more engaging than this. Like I'm having a hard time reading this because I'm
Mhm.
getting bored. That's the worst. Like even if a script is bad, like I'd rather be reading a script that's so bad it's outrageous, and like I can remember it being so outrageous, than a
Yes.
script that just bores me and I'm just like, this just like it's
Yeah, you're like, oh my
it's
God.
fine, but nothing's happening. Like
Hmm.
that's the worst. And it's the same thing when you watch a movie. Like What's that? What's that movie? The Room. Like that movie is outrageously bad, but it's so bad you remember it and it's funny. Like, but then there are movies that are just not
Which one
engaging.
was The Room? The one with Brie Larson?
No,
That one?
that's Room.
Room.
That movie
Okay.
won her an Oscar, I think.
Yeah, it did. I was about to say. Yeah, I was like,
The
hmm.
Room is what Tommy Wiseau's Tommy Wiseau's the guy.
Oh yes. Okay.
Oh, what's that famous line that he says in? Oh God, what is it?
Hi, Mark. Is that
Hi,
one it?
Mark is one of them. It's like you're
Which one was
tearing
the
me
other
up.
one?
You're tearing me apart, Lisa. Like that, and
Oh
he's
yes.
just
Yeah.
not a good actor. And he's
Hmm.
yeah.
I was thinking of like the Disaster Artist, which is the movie that James Franco and Dave Franco made after The
Well,
Room.
based
It
on
was like the
that, based on
story.
the
Yeah.
making of that, yeah. You know,
Hmm.
that movie was. I mean, I saw it once a few years ago. I liked it. I remember liking the movie. I thought it was really
The
interesting.
Disaster Artist or The Room?
The Disaster Artist.
Huh. Okay. Yeah.
I've
I was gonna
only
say.
seen bits. I have only seen bits and clips of The Room because I don't think I could stomach just like watching that. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. Have you watched it? Have you watched The Room in its entirety? Do you have any
No,
desire
I
to?
haven't even. No, I won't probably
No,
ever.
not even a little.
No, no, no. I've heard so many people say it's such a bad movie. You should watch it. And like, why would I waste an hour of my day doing what I can do something else watching a horrible movie? I would rather go into watching, you know, go into a movie not knowing that it's going to be bad and then saying, oh, like, oops, I didn't know it was going to be bad. But
Yeah.
going into a movie knowing that it's going to be bad. I know one of uh in freshman year, everyone used to talk about The Room and everyone was like, it's such a bad movie. Like you should definitely take time to watch it. Never took the time. Never took the time.
Never took the time. Never. I mean, honestly, same. I've never really taken the time to watch it. Yeah, I mean, I guess I feel the same way. There are some
Hmm.
movies that I have watched that I know are not good, but it's funny to watch it. It's fun. Sometimes it's funny to watch something that, especially if you get the feeling that the filmmakers are in on the joke. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like they know that it's bad and they're purposely making it bad to make you laugh. That's interesting. That's fun.
Hmm.
But
Yes.
that's not my favorite types of movies, obviously.
No.
But what's that one? There is one movie that
Would you say The Room is the worst movie you've ever seen?
well, I mean I can't really say that I've seen it, in its entirety.
Hmm.
I will say this. When people ask me what is the worst movie I've ever seen, and objectively, this is probably not the worst movie that's ever been made. Definitely not. But I just remember as a kid, I was
Okay.
young. I went to the movies with my dad and my brother, and we saw this movie. Oh my fuck! I see. I still remember it. It's called Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow. Have you ever heard of
Never heard of
that?
that movie. Nope.
Oh, you should. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you should watch it because it is an experience. Um,
Okay.
but I just remember being there, and again, I was young. And when you're young, you don't recognize that some movies can be mediocre. As long as a movie
Hmm.
like has like action or like lasers or something that can like engage your kid's sensibilities, you're cool with it.
Yes.
You're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
cool, yeah. But even as a young, because I was like probably transitioning from being like a young kid to being like a little older and like kind of going into, I was becoming a little bit more mature. And I sat
Hmm.
there but I was again still like a kid and I was watching this. And that was like the first time I was watching a movie and I realized that a movie can be objectively mediocre. Because I was just watching it and just shit wouldn't even make sense. Like, I mean, there was this one character. I think Gwyneth Paltrow, I think, played like this character. So the premise, from what I remember, is like large robots invade. They just come out of nowhere, and they just like invade New York City, and no one knows where they're coming from, what's going on, and then these two people, this guy and this reporter, played by Gwyneth Paltrow. I think Jude Law is the guy, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but I think it's Jude Law and Gwyneth Paltrow. And Gwyneth Paltrow character is, was so annoying because she would always drop her camera. She dropped her camera like 5 times, and every time it was like this big deal, and she had to go back and get it, and she almost died or killed someone in the process. It was one of those tropes that was just so, and they did it like 5 times. But it's crazy because even crazier than that, they have to find this person called Sky Captain to basically save the world, and they're like looking for this guy named Sky Captain. And I don't even remember if they even find Sky Captain, or they find like they probably did, but I don't even remember that part. Like that was like at the very end. But they have to face these androids. One of the androids I think was played by Angelina Jolie, or maybe she wasn't an android. I don't know. Like there were robots, and then Angelina Jolie comes out, and she's like the antagonist. None of it made any sense. I can't even remember. Like
I thought this movie was animated.
No, it was really bad CG, but it was live action.
You know what movie that it was surprising that I didn't get scared of at all, and I'm really easily scared when it comes to devils and all that stuff, and like demons and possessions.
Yeah.
The Exorcist, I was not scared at all. I slept through half of the movie.
Really?
I don't know if it was because it was made in the 80s and just like the scare effect was not the same. And it like, just like the throw up and like when she turns her head like 360.
Really?
I was like,
none of that scary? Wow, okay. I mean,
I did find The Omen, and that was made in the 70s. The Omen.
Yeah, The Omen's,
that was the scary one.
The Omen's terrifying.
It still creeps me out.
Yeah.
I think because it was like more mysterious and it didn't really show, like any like strong like possessions like that, or like fake throw up or anything like that. I think it's just like more the mystery of it.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely more like scary. Yeah.
Yeah. But do you remember in The Exorcist there's that moment where I think it's like on a wide shot of like the mom or something, and then it rapid cuts to the face of the demon that is like you see the face of the demon that is possessing the girl, and it cuts right back to the mom. That shit still scares me. Like I think about that to this day.
I think what scared me the most about The Exorcist was the beginning when the priest arrives, and it's just like him standing outside the house and the light.
So
that's
just
like, because
you found the atmosphere of the movie to be the most scary, but it wasn't any of there's none of the effects,
nothing like that. Yeah,
I get that.
Like the situation is scary 100%, but just the effects, they didn't really do it for me.
I mean, I get that. I mean, we're so spoiled now.
Yeah, we have like the Conjuring universe and all that stuff.
Did you see the newest one that just went up on HBO Max?
Yes, I haven't been able to sleep. I'm scared to walk from my living room to my room when I turn off all the lights. I feel like there's going to be like the Satanist lady from the movie running up behind me to slit my throat or something. I remember I saw it with my friends on Sunday, and I came back home, and I remember I still had to put like my bed sheets on because I had just washed them that day, and they were in the dryer by the time that I got back, so they were ready to be put, back on my bed. And then I was cleaning everything under like my bed, and when I look under my bed, I saw that I had like a I don't know what it's called in English, but it's like a hair. It kind of holds my hair together instead of like putting in a ponytail. It's kind of like the claw, like claws. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah. I
Like
don't know that.
let's
I
call
don't
it a
know.
hair claw. Yeah, let's call it a hair claw.
We
But
just we
I
made up a
saw,
word and we made up a term today.
yeah,
Hair claw. I
hair
hope
claw.
people know what
So
that is. I mean, I can visualize what you're saying in my mind. Yeah, a hair claw.
I hopefully girls that watch this podcast know what I'm talking about.
I'm
I
sure
can't say the
they
same
do.
thing for guys.
Oh
Yeah,
well, I
but
mean, yeah, anything related to girls' hair, it's gonna fly over their heads. It's fine.
yeah.
It's cool.
But did you watch it? Did you watch it yet or no?
I did watch it, and I
Okay.
was
Do you
not.
remember how there's a totem? The
Yeah,
totem of the witch?
yeah.
Yeah. So I looked under the
You
bed.
look terrified as you're describing this. Like you look
It's
scared
because
right now, even talking about it.
it's because it's funny yet it's scary, It's like the event that happened to me that I thought a witch came into my house and put a totem under my bed and I was about to be cursed. But it was actually just like the hair thingy. I was just like
Wait,
I laughed at
so you
myself.
looked under your bed, saw the claw, and thought it was a totem? How? How did you?
Okay,
Oh,
because
wait a minute, no. Because now I'm thinking about the movie. There's that totem thing that they discover underneath the house, and that
mhm.
kind of looks like a.
That's what I'm saying. And I looked under my bed and
I can now see why.
I stopped breathing and then I realized like, oh, it's just my hair
Yeah,
thing.
it's just your hair thing. It's just your hair claw.
uh,
Hair claw.
yeah, my hair claw. But
That's
I did find that one scary. Um,
I didn't like
just
it.
because, people are crazy like that. And apparently it's based off, in the name they had the cult name, the Sons of Ram,
Yes.
but it's actually based off the Sons of Sam, all like the Satanist group from New York. Remember how they thought it was
Right.
just one person, but it was actually multiple people?
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah.
I think that scares me the most.
That's interesting.
Hmm.
I did not like the movie, and I'll tell you.
Why? Why did you not?
I'll tell you.
Compared to their three other ones, or their two other ones.
The two other. Yeah. No. I mean, I still think the Conjuring one is the best.
The
I
first
think.
one.
Yeah. I think honestly, it probably for me goes like in order. I think one's the best, two's fine, it's the second best. The reason why I didn't like three. I mean, I get what you're saying. The fact that these Satanist groups are weird, are real, weird and real. Like that is like oh, so there actually is there is some truth in that, and that that practice, and then that is creepy.
Hmm.
The thing that you know was just like I thought that the beginning half of the film was the cinematography, how the visual language and
Okay.
the editing technique was so cool. And like the shots that they were able to produce in the first half were really cool. They kind of get
Hmm.
less interesting as the film progresses. I was a little disappointed by that.
Hmm.
That's one thing. But even
Okay.
more importantly, the story. For me, I think The Conjuring is cool because when I watched the first Conjuring movie, and even though I don't really believe in the supernatural, I mean, I believe in energy and stuff, but I don't believe in like that ghosts come back and like haunt your ass and stuff like that, and like are evil like that. I I do though. I could watch the first movie and think and still feel like this could have. I mean, again, I wasn't there. Nor was there like
Hmm.
felt like maybe this was based on true events. In this third movie, once we kind of realize that the main antagonist is not just a demon, it's an actual person that they're following, then I'm like, this just feels more Hollywood now. It just the fact that there's a human antagonist. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? I'm
because
like, because then they have to like face that person, and it becomes like a fatal thing. It's just kind of like, okay, I don't believe that this happened. Now this is just
Yeah.
feels, and the fact that she was the daughter of the guy that they visited, I was like, that's really fucking convenient. And like, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they built that in the end, like the daughter, and then like the priest that studies the occult or whatever. I don't know if they built that for, Hollywood, or for the story to
I just don't
advance.
think they set that up well enough. Like, I mean, like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I think they
I
should have
expected the
spent.
lady to be more scary too. Like her lanky, she was lanky, skinny. You could see her, like her face structure or whatever, but I wanted her to be scary. Like the nun. The nun, not the movie, but like in the first few glimpses that we get of the nun in the Conjuring movies,
Yeah.
she is scary. The
Yes.
movie was horrible
Yeah. No.
because
The Nun movie is. I mean, no disrespect to the Conjuring universe, but the Nun movie was trash. The movie
yes,
was
it was
not
one of
good.
the worst.
It's pretty bad.
I don't know.
Um,
I don't know if it's because James Wan wasn't in charge of it and it was someone else that was in charge of it.
I mean, I
Because
just.
James Wan, he was really good at it at the first few ones.
Well, yeah. I mean, James Wan um, came up with the original concept, and it's actually interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I read like the first drafts of the script before James Wan got,
Oh
because
wow.
there were like two screenwriters who wrote the original Conjuring, and then James Wan took that and then did his draft, and like that's the movie. And the first draft is definitely a way different movie.
Oh
And
really?
I mean, yeah, and James Wan definitely made a scarier, better movie.
Was the first draft just going to be like documentary-ish kind of, or how was it way different than James?
I think just James he added the scariness of it. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like he added like that specific style, like his creepy specific style to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, because I mean he's also in charge of the Insidious movies, which I think
He's in charge of like all of Blumhouse now, I think.
is that
He's
true?
like the CEO. Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Well, James
He
Wan.
was the CEO a couple of years ago.
Well, I
So
mean,
yeah.
and I like Insidious more than the Conjuring. I mean, I think those movies are creepier than the Conjuring movies, and he did
Yes.
such a great job with the first Insidious. And I love, and that's the thing, I love the second Insidious too. The second
Which
Insidious, chapter 2 is
yes.
pretty good. The third is not good, and the fourth isn't good. So I would
Which one
stop
was
after.
the one with the key? Remember, with the key in the
I think
chest
that
and all
was
that
like
stuff about the girl
4.
that gets run over? Well,
Yeah,
which one was the third one then?
the third was just like this like, because here's the thing, the first Insidious was about that family, like,
Mm-hmm.
and then the second movie continues that story. Then the third one, it was just this random family that had no connection to the original family, and it just was. I don't even like. It wasn't an interesting story. Like this girl just kind of gets run over, and then she starts seeing stuff. You know.
Yeah. But I think they tried to make the fourth one more of a
Well,
what's it
because
called?
isn't the fourth one
Like a
more about the old?
prequel.
Yeah, exactly. Because the fourth one is about the old woman
Mm-hmm.
who's the medium. It's her like
Yes.
backstory.
And how she builds the team. Yeah, how she builds the team with the two other dudes.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was okay.
Yeah.
It
The
wasn't
first
that.
one was scary. I just don't like thinking about it. I think the worst part, I think what adds to the scariness is the music. The music of those movies does a really good job when they
Yes.
have like a really loud, sharp like, and then yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. It's so scary. It's so scary. Yeah.
Which director would you think you would want to work with in the future? Like the
Me?
most? Like horror
Me?
movies, or yes, horror movies or any genre?
Oh, you're saying like what kind of stuff I want to do?
No, like which director would you want to work with of any
A
genre, like
specific
drama
director.
or
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I would ever co-direct something.
Hmm.
Like, so are you just saying like that I would be
Maybe
just
just
like
be on set with
I would be a
them.
part of the crew, or and I would just be there?
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh man, that's that's tough. I mean, fuck. Alive or dead? Can they be dead?
Oh, yes. I was like saying like Alive or Dead, is that a movie? Because okay,
Dead or
yeah.
alive?
Alive or Dead.
Cool. Yeah, alive or dead. Yeah, okay, cool. I mean, I'd like to see Kubrick. I would have loved to have seen that. I would have loved to have been on the set of Full Metal Jacket
Hmm.
because I that movie astonishes me every time like just it's so perfect. I mean,
Hmm.
and even just speaking from just like the visual language, like just how that film is
Yes.
shot, it's pretty
Yes.
perfect. I would have loved, and this is a person who was alive, Claire Denis, who was a French director. Her,
Hmm.
I really love her film Bayou Traval. I
I've
saw
heard of it.
it's a really interesting movie. It's
Okay.
about it's basically about this French squadron that's set up in like in some country in Africa, maybe Congo, or I said the Kai, I apologize. But yeah, no, or maybe they're in Sierra Leone. Um,
Okay.
and they essentially, and you basically follow. It's not very plot driven. It's very much like character studies of this squadron and how they operate and how it's kind of like,
Okay.
you know, it's basically about like a squadron where there's so many, like they're all meant to be they have these kind of like dull personalities. They're very much like
Hmm.
just get the job done, fulfill your orders, and there's not a lot of emotional expression. But you realize that some of these men are holding in so much emotion,
Hmm.
and it's this just weird thing it's this weird thing that you're witnessing. And the main character that you're following, he's this very macho guy who's in this squadron. He's like the leader of the squadron, and you suspect by the end of the movie that he's actually uh,
A
a gay
pretty
man.
soft guy.
You
Oh,
know,
okay.
like a gay man um who just isn't. He's hiding it. He's not.
Okay.
And that's a really good movie. Or that yeah. I mean, I would like to have been on set of that. Um,
Hmm.
I would have loved to have been on the set of Breaking Bad. So like I guess Vince Gilligan, I would have loved to have been, or like Ryan Johnson when he was directing the Fly episode of Breaking Bad. That would have been a dope set to have been on. I would have loved to have been on. Um, I mean this. I mean, I Spielberg. Like if I
Yes,
could have
of
been like
course,
on if I
100%.
could have been like on E.T. or Jurassic Park or like
The Goonies.
yeah, the Goonies. I haven't seen that one in a while actually. Um, I
So good.
would have loved to have been on the set of the Marvelous Miss Maisel actually. That I love that show.
Okay.
Marvelous Miss Maisel is
Okay.
such a dope show. Um, I forget the creator of that show, but um, oh Palladino is her last name, the creator of the show. Of the
Okay.
Marvelous Miss Maisel. I would have loved to have been. I'm sorry. Now I'm just thinking about all the shows and films that sets I would have wanted. How about you? What about you?
Hmm. I really would love to work with James Wan in one of his movies, just to, because he
You're
did.
not a horror person, but you're fascinated by someone who makes horror movies.
Yes, in other words, I like to make myself suffer when it comes to watching scary movies because I do like the
Well, isn't that
anticipation of
yeah,
them.
well, exactly. I mean, isn't that why anyone watches a horror movie to kind of low key torture themselves? But that's the fun of it. You're getting scared, and that's kind of like torture, but it's the adrenaline
Yeah.
rush, you know?
It's like it's basically the same thing when you go on a roller coaster.
Yeah,
You know,
it's the
like you go to
anticipation of the
feel that.
fall.
Exactly. Like you know what's coming. You know what you're getting yourself into. So I think that's who I would like to work with. I would also like to work with Guillermo del Toro, Alejandro Iñárritu, or Alfonso Cuarón, like all those Mexican directors. I
I'm
think they're
sorry,
really cool too.
you just like flow in and out of that accent very seamlessly.
No. Oh, I thought I got cut off. I
No, no,
didn't.
no, oh no, no, you didn't. No, you didn't get cut off. No,
Okay,
I was
okay.
commenting on the fact that it's so crazy that you
Easy to
flow.
switch.
It's so easy to switch in and out of that accent.
Years of practice. I
Years of
sometimes do
practice.
Spanglish. Yeah, I sometimes do Spanglish. I try not to. But yes, it just sounds better when I say, you know, their names in Spanish than if I would just say them in English. But I don't know. I think I like Guillermo del Toro's art, the way that he thinks of those weird monsters that he always comes up with. I love that. Uh, the like his creativity as well is really good. Um, Alejandro Iñárritu, I think he was the one that made Gravity, right? Or was it Alfonso
No,
Cuarón?
that's Alfonso Cuarón. In Your
Okay,
Reach is Revenant.
The Revenant.
Birdman.
Yes,
Yes.
I did not see Birdman. It was not as appealing to me. My parents did see it, and they were
I
like,
mean, it was
it's
good.
kind of slow."
I mean, it is slow.
But I guess I
I
have
mean,
to see it though.
I mean,
Eventually, I will have to see it.
I
Mm-hmm.
suppose. I suppose you have to. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
how much of your Latin heritage, your Latinx heritage, do you think? Like, do you see yourself make? Is the reason for you getting into filmmaking and wanting to tell stories, is that based on your desire to tell specifically Latinx stories, or are you just really kind of here to tell just stories that are very just universal to anyone?
I definitely do want to bring in more awareness to the Latinx heritage, especially like the Mexican culture, uh,
What parts of it?
because mm, maybe like the history. You know, I'm very interested in. It gives me a chance to learn more about where I come from, and but also, you know, I don't want to limit myself to just doing Latinx driven stories. I also want to do, you know, create other stories that are um, that don't just include Latinx people. You know, I do want to include, you know, be inclusive of all these stories. I mean, and even if I do just create a Latinx story, you can still find ways to make it relatable to a lot of people, no matter
Of
who's
course.
involved.
Yes,
So
definitely. I
yeah,
mean,
I do definitely want to create relatable stories then. I would say that is my answer. But yes, I do. I'm currently working on a story that has to do with my great grandmother. Yes, my great grandmother. I'm almost positive that it is her. She had to escape Mexico and move to New Orleans during the
oh shit.
I think it
Why?
was the revolution of 1918 in Mexico. I apologize for all the family members that listen to this. That if I am getting it wrong, I will look it up right now to not embarrass myself.
You have disgraced your family's honor. How dare you?
No. War of 19, I think.
I mean, because I did study um a little bit of Mexican history in high school in like my Spanish class. Um, and I know there's been a few I mean, there have been many revolutions in Mexico. Am I correct in saying that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the big one takes place in September 16th. That is our Independence Day against
Spain.
so mercy. Yes. Independence.
How do I know
Please cut this out.
more about this than you?
Please cut this out.
I am
of
the whitest white guy in the history of white guys.
Yes.
Like
Against Spain. I was getting confused with the French. But it is against Spain. That's the Independence
That's
Day
Cinco de
against
Mayo.
Spain.
Cinco de Mayo is.
No. Cinco de Mayo
Oh, I'm
was.
so sorry. Your face.
What did you
say?
No. Okay, Cinco de Mayo.
What was Cinco de Mayo about? Remind me what that was.
Okay, Cinco de Mayo was just a war in Oaxaca.
Right.
That it was just like, we just wanted to get rid of the French, and we just wanted to get rid of the French. So
yeah.
No, but that's okay. No, Independence Day.
That was
no, it was yes, but you said Cinco de Mayo was French. You said Cinco de Mayo was Independence
No, I'm sorry.
Day was September.
I misspoke. What I meant.
Okay.
What I meant was saying was I wasn't saying that Cinco de Mayo is a French holiday. I'm saying that that was a conflict between Mexican troops and French troops.
Okay.
Is that
yes, you are correct in that term.
Okay.
Yes.
You looked at me. You looked at me like I just stabbed a family member. I was just oh no. French?
No, see what I thought you were saying was because I was still talking about the Independence Day.
Right. Yes.
And then you said Cinco de Mayo, and I was
And you thought that I was saying that it was French independent. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
And I was no, that's Spain. Independence Day is
I know that. I know that for sure.
Yes.
Cinco de Mayo is not France's Independence Day.
No.
So okay. So let's get back.
But I'm just trying.
So what is I bet our audience already knows that I'm just the only one who's ignorant around this. I thought I knew what Cinco de Mayo was about. What is Cinco de Mayo? I mean, I know you guys just wanted to get the French troops out of there. Is that the gist of the holiday?
Yes, but literally no Mexican ever celebrates it. I don't know why you guys celebrate it so much.
And when you say you guys, you mean white people, right?
Americans, yeah. I don't know why you guys make it such a big deal.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it's Cinco de Mayo.
I don't know why you guys like it so much. I don't know if it's an excuse for you guys to drink when it doesn't even have anything to do with your guys' country.
It's definitely an excuse to drink.
But
it's definitely, I don't know. It's I don't know.
That makes sense.
Americans have this desire to kind of just suck in holidays from other cultures, which is kind of oh, you guys have this kind of secondary holiday that you guys don't care about that much. You wouldn't mind if we just also
celebrate it for you,
or with. I mean, do you when Cinco de Mayo happens, do you ever go out to eat or anything? Do you ever go to a bar and just have a good time?
No.
You don't do anything on Cinco de Mayo. You and your family don't do nothing. Knowing this is news to me. Okay, so Mexican people don't care. Mexican people don't give a shit about Cinco de Mayo. All Americans and white Americans who are listening, this astounds me. I thought that you all cared about this. I thought this mattered.
No, not really. I mean, I read somewhere that in Oaxaca they celebrate it, but even then, I can't really speak on the matter if they do, because I am not one from there. I am more from La Ciudad de Mexico. But even then,
Mexico City? Nearby Mexico.
Yeah, the capital of Mexico. Yes. But even then, I don't yeah, I don't know if they celebrate it as much as Google made it seem that they celebrate it,
So you think Google is to blame? You think Google made everyone think that this was a big deal, and then everyone jumped on the bandwagon?
no, because I feel like it's a lack of wanting to actually know what went on during that time, and like I don't know why Americans started celebrating it. I couldn't tell you why. I mean, sure. I mean, it was funny because one guy in the friend group, he like asked me like, okay, do you honestly like, and tell me like seriously, do you think it's racist if I go out to drink today with my mom and her friends for Cinco de Mayo? And I really wanted to make him like feel bad. And so I was like, yeah, it's like really racist if you do that. But
Wow.
in all honesty, I was like, no, just kidding. Like, we don't care what you do. Like, I don't know. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, go ahead and have drinks if you want. I mean, who am I to judge?
People make up excuses to go out and drink with their friends. I mean, St. Patrick's Day, really. I mean, and I don't want to. I guess I don't want to offend the Irish as a member of the Irish people. I mean, I'm like 50% Irish, so not
Okay.
not like a full ass Irish person, but like,
Hey, you count. You count.
there's heritage there. I don't want to offend anybody, but like, let's be real. I mean, St. Patrick's Day, yes, it has religious significance. I mean, yeah, it's one of our saints. It's one of our guys who was a saint, and obviously Catholicism is a huge
Yes.
Influence over Irish culture. But aside from drinking and eating Irish food, it's not incredible. Like for me, I'm speaking for myself. It's not incredibly important to me as a person. Like it's not like the 4th of July, where like the 4th of July kind of has like you have a sentimentality for it.
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day is just like, I'm gonna go out and get fucked up with my
mean, you can say yeah. I mean, just like, in Independence Day in Mexico, everyone uses the 16th of September as a, one, you celebrate our independence from Spain, two, you just go out and like have fun with your friends, because they do this really big thing in front of like the president's house, and it's like all these people go and like they've set off fireworks and all that stuff, and then it's just a lot of fun. I would want to spend Independence Day in Mexico at least some moment in my life. When I have the money to buy a ticket to go in September, I will.
When was the last time you were in Mexico City?
December 2019 for Christmas. We went to the beach. That was the last time. And then this December, we are going back, but I don't know what the plan is. But
do you have family?
It'll be interesting. Yes, everyone is there. Apart from like second cousins who live in Ohio, but we don't really see them ever. But yeah, all of my direct family is from there.
Everyone has second cousins who live in an obscure place. Like I have second cousins who are from, but like you always hear that, like you always hear someone talk about their family, yeah, and like I have this second cousin who like lives in
West Virginia or something.
West Virginia, but we don't ever see or speak to them. I think I have some.
Yeah.
I think I have some in Kentucky, or in the South. Yeah, family's interesting. Family's weird.
Family, yeah.
Family is weird.
Of course.
Did your parents support you wanting to be in the film industry? Did your family in general support that?
Yes, they were like, I found out that I kind of, because I remember saying when I was like little, I used to tell my mom like, oh, I want to be like an actress or something like that. And she's like, well, you have to get a college degree first. And I was like, and then I was not aware that there was like, because my plan when I was little, not thinking about it, I would say like, oh yeah, I'll just move to Hollywood and start making movies or whatever because I thought it was that easy. But, you know, as you grow, you find out that you actually have to, that there's schools for this and all that stuff. So I was like in high school, that was like the first time that I had heard of, you know, apart from NYU and Juilliard, but like Juilliard, you know, Juilliard is like a 2% acceptance rate. So I was like, yeah, like if that's my only chance of getting into film school, then no, there's like, I wouldn't even want to try. But then I heard of Columbia and, and that was like when I was like, oh, okay. And I guess kind of like what also inspired me to study film was the fact that my grandmother's cousin was an actress in the golden age of Mexico, for film, you know, and then her dad was a sound guy.
Wow.
So,
No,
and
yeah,
he
no,
also
we've
wrote a
talked
lot
about
of
this before.
movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
You
So
you
that's
have
kind of like,
you have it in your blood a little bit. You have
hmm
film history in your blood. That's very interesting. That's very cool. Um,
yes.
is your family from the Midwest, or did you move to the Midwest for school?
No. So we are all from, you know, we moved from Mexico to Chicago, so we've been living in the Midwest forever. So
Okay.
yes, we are from the Midwest.
Yes. So yeah, from Mexico,
Yes.
you moved to. Did your family live in Chicago, or does your family live in Chicago?
You know, in not in the city, but we lived in Naperville first, and then we moved to
Naperville.
yeah,
Oh,
and then we
okay.
moved to Elmhurst.
So we
But me and
grew
my
up.
sister, yeah,
We grew
we
up
like.
very close to each other then, because I grew up in Downers Grove.
Oh no way!
My parents still live in Downers Grove. I went to Downers Grove South High School.
Do you know Montini then?
I do know
Montini
Montini.
Catholic. I
Yes.
went to Montini.
Ah, yes. You went to
Mm-hmm.
Montini. Okay, you were one of those. You were one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, cool. You went to Montini. That makes sense. I mean, not that I'm making like a judgment on you because you went to Montini.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can judge Montini. Doesn't matter. I didn't
Did
like
you
Montini that much.
did you enjoy going to a private I mean, it's a private Catholic institution,
You
right?
know, yeah. But there was some, you know, I did enjoy it, but I think I would have enjoyed it more if I went to public school, just because I saw the same people like almost every single day. Our school was literally a square, so
Mm.
it was one floor, 600
Oh,
students
one floor. Wow.
total. Yeah,
Oh,
600 students total from freshmen to seniors.
yeah. I was
Yeah.
DePaul, or not DePaul. Downers Grove South is it is also a big like rectangle, but it has 3 floors, and in total I think there's like 3,000 students.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I mean, that was one nice thing about going to a public school, and particularly that school. There were a lot of different people, and you were around a lot of different. It wasn't like all white, you know.
No, yeah.
It was like, um, I mean, I was like a theater kid, a musician kid. There was no film thing there, so
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do any film in school, but
Yeah.
yeah, I used to resent growing up in the Midwest. Resentment might be a strong
Me too,
resentment
until I
might be
moved.
a strong word, but yeah, I'm sorry.
Me too, but that's up until when I started to grow more in the city. I feel like the city's a totally different vibe from the suburbs.
I mean, yeah, definitely.
hmm
It's yeah. I
I
mean,
am not a suburb kind of gal. It's kind of
yeah.
dead sometimes.
Well, that's the thing. Once you've been to the city, and once you know what else is, once you leave that bubble,
Yes.
you can't go back, and like it's not you can't look at it the same way anymore.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Like the parties, the people are just different, There's definitely a difference between city kids and then suburban kids,
Oh,
I would say.
100%. Suburban
Yeah.
people, like kids and young adults who have only lived in the suburbs have no, well, I don't want to be mean and like generalize, but they have like no, and this isn't all suburb people who grow up in suburbs, but like very few have like what's the word? Like what am I trying to say? Like they don't have that perspective that being around, like, because when you're in the city, you're around so many different types of people, so many different personalities, cultures, ethnicities, just ways of living.
Yeah.
Whereas the suburb, it's kind of like a lot of suburbs, and I guess I'm characterizing the suburbs of Chicago. They
Hmm.
feel homogenized. They feel very broad stroke. Like
Like
there's
very bland.
bland's a adequate word for it. Like there's redundant. Every day kind of feels like it's the same thing you're doing,
Yeah.
same motions, which some people dig that. Which is fair to them. I just knew for a while, like when I was growing up, you feel like I'm not in the right place.
Yeah.
You just yeah,
I
you're
mean, and
kind
you have to be there because, you don't have any other choice, really. So you kind of,
well,
you
well, yeah,
know,
you don't have a college degree, a you don't have the life skills to make it out on your own yet.
hmm
So yeah,
And then like once after, you move to for college into the city, it's like, oh my God, like, you kind of adopt the city into you kind of,
what
you
do you
know
mean
how to
by
move
that?
around, like kind of like, you adopt the culture of the city into yourself, like you kind of exchange it for the suburban culture where everything feels the same.
Yes, no,
You experience something new every day in the city.
yes, oh yeah. Even if you live in the same area and you're generally around the same area of the city, a lot of the times
Hmm.
different things are happening on the street every day. Like, you know what I mean? Like you never see, you hardly ever see the same people walking on the street twice. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Whereas in the suburbs, you're bound to see the same, especially in a really small town. You're bound to
Yeah.
see the same people. Which it's funny. My girlfriend Nia was like, I'd like to live in a place where that was the case, or like you could, because she's always lived like in Chicago, so she kind of has that
Hmm.
reverse perspective. She's kind of like, I would kind of like to be in a place where I knew everyone's name and
Yeah.
and that kind of a deal.
I sometimes think that I could go and live in a small town, like a really small,
I could do that
secluded
when I'm
town in
like,
like Texas. And then I'm
sure.
like, no, I'll probably just like, I could last there for a day, not like a whole, like the rest of my life. Like you wake up, you were basically, in most of those towns, and it sounds kind of sad, but like in most of those towns, you were born there, you go to high school, you graduate, you may go to college, but you move back there. Um, I don't know, maybe you studied agriculture or something. You move back there, go work on your like parents' farm or something like that, or like the small town restaurant, and that's it. Like
That's
that's it.
life.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if I would ever want that. I could
Oh
probably go
no,
for a
no.
day.
Like
Yeah.
I could see my. I mean, and well, it's sad, but some people. I mean, for some people, that's their decision. Like they. Some people are forced into that, or it seems that they're forced into that, and some people like
Hmm.
just generally decide like, oh no, I want that. Like I want to be in a place like that. I don't want to go anywhere else. But yeah, I mean, for me, feel like when I'm like, and again, who knows how I'll feel when I'm 65 or that age, but like, I feel like maybe when I've done what I've set out to do, and like, I feel, because I don't think I'll ever retire. I don't think I'm one of those people.
No.
I don't think I'm one of those people who would just decide one day to be like, okay, I've had enough. I think, although I do think in my older age I might do less. I might slow down a little bit and maybe relocate somewhere. But I would always want to have the ocean or like some body of water nearby. Like I love the mountains. Like I love Arizona and Texas, but and like New Mexico, but I feel like this connection to living by a place where there's water. I mean, preferably like a sea, like an ocean. Like living on
Yes.
living like in California where there's the Pacific, or even like in Florida or the East Coast where there's the Atlantic, like, you know, having I could maybe, you know, move to a small town that's a little more quiet. But yet, I mean, I could never go back to like Ohio, small town. Like
Indiana, small town.
I couldn't do like Iowa, small town. I couldn't.
Oh Christ, no.
I mean, and
South
no,
Dakota.
again, we're not trying to. Again, I know there might be people watching from those. We're not. I'm not trying to. We're not trying to shit on those states, but I'm just saying, like, those states are great. Sure, the people there are lovely, but I wouldn't want to live there. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
But actually, we're kind of saying that these states kind of suck, but you know, sue me, honestly.
Have the entire state of South Dakota.
South Dakota's like,
for what?
So South Dakota's like, how dare you speak ill of our great state, the great state of South Dakota.
I mean, the only thing they have going for them is Mount Rushmore, and Mount Rushmore seems
it's not even that big. Have you seen pictures? Yep. Not even that big.
I have not, but I think I would not be surprised that it's not that big if I ever go in person. Not that I ever would just take a trip
I have no
to
desire.
Go see Mount Rushmore.
I have no desire to just haul ass, get in a car or a train or a plane, go to South Dakota.
With the objective of the trip being Mount Rushmore,
right?
Not anything else. Mount Rushmore. Right.
Which I feel like the objective of like no road trip has ever been like, guys, end game, like end of trip, Mount Rushmore. Like that's where we're going, baby. Like no, that's like. Okay, we're going like we're heading towards California. We're taking a different route, and Mount Rushmore just happens to be on the way. Maybe maybe we'll stop and see it. It's not a end all be all.
But yeah, no. I mean, unless you're like Nicolas Cage from National Treasure.
Unless
that was his
from National Treasure.
That was his end game.
That was his end game.
Yeah.
And that was probably the most interesting and probably the most successful ad for South Dakota that's ever been created.
That is, if they actually did go to South Dakota and shoot in South Dakota.
Well, no, didn't they in the first movie, or is it the first or the second one? They go to Mount Rushmore.
I think it was the second one.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, that's an ad for Mount Rushmore, and therefore an ad for South Dakota. South Dakota was probably like, they probably went to the film studio. It's like, okay, listen, I know no one gives a shit about South Dakota. Like I know.
Can you please, for the love of God, shoot a movie here? Could you
please just put Mount Rushmore in this movie? Like just because they're like, it makes sense. Nicolas Cage could be like looking for a national treasure, and it's in Mount Rushmore. Yeah. Wow.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's my rant on South Dakota. That's my vendetta.
If there was of
South Dakota.
Yep. I know we went a little bit off topic for you guys, for the audience.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is, no, I mean, South Dakota.
Just look up, I had to say it. Yeah. And you were talking about the Mexican Revolution as well, which, by the way...
Look up our other episodes and there'll be film stuff.
And then, to get some credit back from my disappointment in in my family history, I figured out that it's literally called the Mexican Revolution. You can look it up on Google. It is 1910. And it correlates with when around the year that my family did have to leave Mexico and move to New Orleans.
Do you know why?
And that's where I'm creating my story.
Do you know why?
I mean, well, they were, yeah. So it's basically like the poor against the rich kind of thing. And, they had, like I think it was like, I'm pretty sure that they had a crop that makes, oh my God, was it the crop? I'm 95% sure that it was the crop that makes rope. I don't know.
Rope is made from a crop?
Or it's like they had like a company that had something to do with making rope.
But no, rope is made out of like twine. I'm literally looking up what is rope made out of.
I mean, I think I'm confusing it with my story now. Like in my story, I had that they had like sugar canes. That they had like a crop for like sugar.
Sugar cane. Yeah, I know. Yeah, if it's sugar, then sugar cane. That makes sense.
That's why I changed it. I changed it because sugar's just easier to do it that way. But in the real story,
I'm interested in the real events. Like why did they have to, like, was your family like exiled from Mexico? Like, did they have to leave?
No, they just ran away. So because they were gonna get killed, they didn't want to risk staying and then having one of the family members like dying because of the revolution. They ran away to New Orleans.
What side were they on?
My dad's side.
No, I mean,
they are on my dad's side.
Like the side of the war. Oh, yeah, side of the war.
Yeah. No, okay. No. Yeah. They were on like the rich side, so they were mostly going against everyone that had money.
So they were.
So we had to.
So you guys were well off, and then and then everyone was having this revolution. You were like, "Fuck this," and then you left.
Yes, my great grandmother did. Yes, yeah. They basically just decided we can't risk it. We have to.
That's smart. That's smart.
I mean, yeah, I would do the same thing if I was put in that situation. I'm like, I'm not gonna risk.
I mean, you wouldn't have been born if something had happened.
I know. I wouldn't be here gracing you with my presence today.
Exactly. And then isn't that so fucking crazy?
Like, I know, it is.
The whole butterfly effect thing. Like, if your great grandmother didn't make that decision,
well, it was her dad. My great grandmother was still little. Yeah.
Right, and then her dad makes that decision to bring everyone to the United States.
Yes.
And then you all go to the United States. And maybe if you stayed, nothing would have happened, or maybe something would have happened. So, because of that, your family is now in the United States. Then you move. I assume after New Orleans, your family moves to California, or not California, to the Midwest.
No. So they went back after the revolution ended.
Okay.
I didn't move into the US until I was 4.
So your family went to New Orleans, came back, and has been there since. And then you are like are you like first generation? Is that what that? Are you like?
Yes.
Well, no, because you were born in.
Well, my dad, yeah, I was born in Mexico.
Okay, well, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but my point is, though, isn't it crazy that all those decisions
lead up to this one moment today?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, then we meet by happenstance in a random meeting that you weren't even supposed to be in. I think, right? That it was just like scheduled that way, and then. Aiden Kelly then told you that I had a podcast, and all of these events lead to us having this conversation
today,
right now in this moment. That's just crazy. And I know nothing we're talking about is about film or the podcast.
I
It's
mean,
fun
it
though. I'm
has
having a fun
it's
time.
it's a story I'm creating that
Yes,
I
this
will
is the story
eventually
that you're
want to turn into
creating.
a TV show.
Right, you're writing
Yes.
the story. Okay, it's gonna be a
Mm-hmm.
series. Oh, that's dope.
Yes.
That's dope.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope.
Yes.
Okay, not. I mean, I'm changing this. Not. Well, I'm kind of not changing the subject.
Eh,
No,
it's okay.
it's okay.
We're so off topic, but it's fine.
We can talk about anything at this point. Like,
Yeah.
we can talk about why the sky is blue, but we're not. Because we when Alex, when we were doing our show with Alex, you talked about your shorts about euthanasia.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did I ever tell you that about my pilot? That's about a guy who does euthanasia.
Stop it. Am I gonna get sued for this?
You're not gonna get sued for this. This was a pilot that I thought of in the winter of 2019, like December of 2019, and I wrote a draft of it. You don't have to get nervous. Like, it's a very different story.
Okay, great.
But no, but like, I just actually, and I should send you the outline because because we have like outlined, because I actually pitched it to my writers room class, and we developed the pilot and then 5 other episodes of it, like as outline.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay.
So I want to like write the pilot script of that, and I would like you to look at it because you have delved into this subject.
If to the euthanasia subject.
Yes. And I didn't bring this up during Alex's podcast because I think the subject was changed. But I just thought that was so cool that we were literally at
both
one point
of
another, we were fascinated by this topic, this subject.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And it all goes back to show the butterfly effect.
The butterfly effect. And isn't it weird that you meet someone from out of the blue?
I have like the same ideas. Yeah. Is that where you're going?
Yes, basically. And the fact that we're doing this podcast, and then on the show you bring up this idea, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's such a great topic. I love that. I mean, I just love the conundrum of the conflict that comes with someone committing euthanasia. And I'm like, why is that? Why have I? Because that's proof of gray, and that's what the show is called. That's proof of gray, you know.
Yep. That's really interesting.
how does that happen? How does that happen?
Coincidence?
I don't know.
I feel like that's the only plausible explanation, because there's no exact formula for how this actually happens.
You mean like how ideas come into your mind? Yeah.
Or like how both of us have thought of like this same subject just at different times in our life, and then we just happen to meet each other 2 or a year later after we come up with these ideas.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's obviously it's not impossible because
No.
But it's because the way that you were describing the story, because it's like we were doing the same. Sometimes you'll meet someone and you're interested in the same things, you're interested in the same topics, but then they come at the situation from a different angle. But the way that you come at this subject is very different than how I came at the subject with Proof of Gray. And I don't know. It's just really interesting. It's just, to me, the nature of creativity and how ideas come to people are just so weird. It's so strange.
Yes, agreed.
It doesn't make it. And that's why, to me, creativity it's like magic. It's like magic. It doesn't make sense, but that's the cool part of it. That's why people who aren't artistic want to be artistic, because there's almost a magic in being creative in that way. That's my hypothesis. That's my TED Talk. Thank you. I get up and I leave.
So much.
Thank you. That was my TED Talk.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Podcast Courier 13, where we
Of Podcast
jumped off
Courier 13.
completely.
We're
where we completely not talk about film at all.
Well, okay. Well,
I mean, we did.
No, we
did a
definitely
little
did. We definitely did. But I think the purpose, one of the purposes why I wanted to do this, and why I think we both wanted to do this, was to let the audience kind of know where we're at in life and the shit
Yeah.
that we think about. Like, it's, you know, this,
Like, introduce ourselves not just to each other, but to our audience as well.
to thoroughly be like, okay, this is her, this is him, this is, you know,
This is us.
this is us. This is her, this is him. This is us.
This is her, this is him, this is us podcast. It's no longer the Courier 13 podcast.
It's no longer the Courier.
This is us.
Just kidding.
No, we'll still have the same name.
We'll have the same name, but whenever we talk about the podcast, we'll refer to it as,
yes.
this is
us.
him, this is us podcast.
This is her.
This is it.
Oh, that's funny.
One thing that I do want to talk about that is related to the podcast is where we see the podcast going from here. Like,
right.
You know, like what, because, you know, when I began the podcast, it was literally just so that during the pandemic, I could talk to my friends, and I thought people might want to watch / listen to our conversations. Now we have
professionals,
prolific members of the industry. I mean,
yes,
and as well as really big players in independent film and television in as well. So it's only up from here, and it's only going to get better, and it's only evolving.
Yes.
What
I definitely do imagine to keep doing this in the future. You know, even after we have like stable jobs in the industry, you know, I just
think this is fun.
I wouldn't want to stop. Yeah.
No,
I mean yeah.
I mean, I'll be real with you. Obviously, I mean, the goal for a podcast is to, you know, obviously cultivate a massive base, or at least a sizable base of fans, and our fan base just continues to grow, which has been just to see the amount of downloads that our newest episodes have begun. It's just been really exciting to see, and we're both really grateful for it. For anyone to take their time and download and listen to the show is just in itself just a wonderful thing. And
my aunt and uncle watch it all the time in Mexico. They always like keep an eye out for it whenever.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's on YouTube. Yeah.
That's so dope.
So we're international now.
Oh my God. Yeah. No.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
We made it.
That's a milestone for the Courier 13 podcast, or the This Is Him, This Is Her, This Is Us podcast. Yeah. No, and it's just dope. I honestly, I think, and we've been talking about this, I think what we're gonna be doing now, like things that we're gonna be adding, like on social media, we want our posts and we want the activity on like Instagram to be more interactive. We actually really, and this is just like us literally just talking to you, the audience. Like, we really want your input, especially for like the filmmakers out there who listen to it. Like, do y'all want to see more actors on the podcast? Do you guys want to see
voice actors, composers,
producers, executives,
editors,
yes, editors, gaffers, lighting specialists, DPs, like
makeup artists.
Yeah.
The list goes on.
Like there's so many jobs in this industry that are not just director, producer, writer. You know what I mean? There's there's so many more. Excuse me, Danielle. I just need to plug my laptop in.
You're fine. You're okay.
Cut.
Cut right now.
Don't you just love the fact that we can just edit this out?
Yeah, honestly, if you could please edit out the fact where I almost forgot when my Independence Day was, I was just getting
Can I
confused
keep that
with
in?
the
Because that's
French
funny.
Revolution.
That's funny. Can I keep that in? I
Sure,
mean,
I'll get shit
if it's
for
like,
it. I will definitely get shit for it from my mother, my father, my sister, my cousins. It's fine. It's not the first time that I've embarrassed myself, nor is it the
no, it'll be
last.
the last. Okay, but
I
okay,
mean, I did
but
explain, guys, listen to me. I got confused. I got confused with the French Revolution. I was looking up the French Revolution while I was seeing about that.
Oh my God,
So,
you
yes, I was indeed confused.
disgrace! You disgraced your. I'm joking. I'm obviously
I
joking.
obviously I obviously know that the independence was from Spain, okay? I was just reading something else on my laptop at the same time to give Tim more or Werner more information.
It's yeah, yes.
It's my ADD. Don't blame me,
And
please.
listen, you're good. You're all good. I mean, I'm not upset. Now maybe everyone in Mexico is upset who watches this show, but don't alienate our
I
fan
mean,
base.
it's only
So.
it's only my aunt and uncle. I don't think my cousins watch it. But my luck, knowing my luck, my cousins will watch this episode and then like talk to me and say like, "How could you?" And I'm like,
Exactly.
"Mhm."
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's okay.
Um, what was I gonna? What was I gonna say? Yeah, listen. You said that this was not the first nor the last time you've embarrassed yourself. Do you remember? This to me is the greatest moment on the podcast thus far. When
You're about to
you,
bring San Francisco into the situation.
I'm not. Oh no, no, I'm not gonna bring up San Francisco. I'm not gonna bring up San Francisco. I edited that out. That is not in the episode.
Yes.
Yes, I was like,
Okay, okay.
I'm not gonna do this to her. When you told Stuart Lyons that that you haven't seen all of Breaking Bad was the highlight of my life. That was so awesome because he loved it too. Like that was such a dope
Yes.
podcast. That
Yeah,
was
he
so
was really cool about it. I yeah, I apologize to the Breaking Bad creators if they see this one day in the future, to the actors,
they probably
to
have
the
already seen
people.
it.
Okay, good, good. Yeah.
Or not. I don't know. I don't know.
I am sorry. I apologize. I started watching it a couple years ago and then I stopped and then I went back to it this past
Daniela,
semester.
you're forgiven. No one's holding this
Thank
over
you.
you. You've been forgiven. I just thought it was a really funny and great moment. I laughed at your expense. Inside. I didn't
Yeah.
laugh when it happened, but inside I was like but it was man, that was such a great episode.
uh,
What a cool guy. What a cool guy.
yeah. He was really nice. So I
Yeah.
enjoyed talking to him.
No, I was fanboying during that episode. For real.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he started talking about like the specifics of certain scenes and breaking them out, I was like, oh my god,
Oh, wow.
oh
Yeah.
my, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you just fanboy inside, like you keep it in, like you don't let it show because you don't want to embarrass yourself, but at the same
Of
time
course.
you're like, oh my god, this is so cool. Um,
Mm-hmm. I
what were
100%
what were we
understand.
talking about earlier? The podcast. You're talking about fan engagement.
Yes.
Yes, you're talking about fan
And how,
engagement.
yes.
Yes, yes.
Again, we have drifted away from
I
what we
mean, this is
were
the nature.
originally talking about.
This is the nature of conversation, ladies and gentlemen.
That is true.
I will say, yeah, no. So the podcast. I mean, I'm gonna be doing this. I just
Forever.
love it. I mean, maybe. Well,
Mm-hmm.
here's the weird thing because here's the thing: we're not podcasters, and we're also filmmakers. Like we're also professionals. So
Correct.
what happens? Because it'll be interesting, and I have thought about this, like, and maybe this was looking maybe a little too much in the future, and it'd be hard to guess this, but there will be times probably where, say, if one of us is working on a project or a film or a TV show, do we step out for like a month or however long it takes, and then go back into it? Like will we take breaks?
I was also thinking the exact same thing.
Because most podcasters are just, although, well, Joe Rogan is
We
like
could do, yeah. I
not
mean, we
just
could
a
do.
podcaster, but like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of podcasters
Mhm.
have like filmmakers. I mean, it really does depend because like Roger Deakins has a podcast, and obviously that dude is prolific and busy all the time. And I don't know how he schedules out his podcast, but I mean, I think you can have a professional career, and I think that's so the potential of this podcast is so cool because you can literally catalog two filmmakers' journey from film school into their careers. And the podcast is almost like a
Correct.
catalog of that journey and us
Mhm.
learning and growing along with the audience. I think that is such a cool thing that this podcast presents.
Mhm.
Like, that's
I
so
mean,
dope.
I feel like, in the future, what we could do is, whenever we are working on a TV show or something, then we wouldn't invite someone like an industry professional. We could just do an episode where just the both of us talk, like giving life updates or, you know, something like easy like that, because it's just the two of us and we don't have to bring a third person into the podcast for that one
That's true.
specific
We
episode.
we can give updates like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean,
And I mean, we should start even doing that now. Like maybe like every 3 episodes after we have like 3 important guests, then we do one of us both.
or maybe it's like maybe I don't, maybe we put out 2 episodes.
Yeah.
One is with a guest, and one is us talking. We may not
Mm-hmm.
post one with just us every week, but that could be like a,
Mm-hmm.
a
Yeah.
double episode bonus.
Yes. Double episode bonus.
I love how we're talking about our strategy for
And
the
we're
podcast
figuring it out
on
right
the
now.
podcast. I hope you guys find this cool. I think this would be kind of cool to listen to.
Yeah. I mean, you guys can give us, comments below in YouTube.
Yes,
Or like even DM us too on our Instagram.
DM us on the podcast Instagram. DM us at Werner Andrews and then at Danny. Is it Danny Tor 5?
Yes.
Danny Tor 5. Okay.
Yeah.
So Daniela's Danny Tor 5. That's Danny DANITOR
R5.
R5. Dope. But no, like
Yes.
seriously, like we want. I mean, I know the nature of podcasts. Sometimes it feels like we're kind of like making the show and you guys just watch. We want suggestions. We want people to get involved and engrossed in the show as we are.
Yep.
There you go. There you go.
Strategic.
The strategy, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly.
So
So in other words, you won't be able to escape us.
You won't be able to escape us. We're not going anywhere. Just because we don't have a guest this week doesn't mean we're slowing down or anything.
No.
Stay tuned for new things, new types of guests, bigger and better things.
Also, 2 new updates as well. We are creating a newsletter. We are in the midst of creating a newsletter and a website.
Creating a newsletter, yes, and a website. Yep.
So keep an eye out for that. Right. We will obviously make an announcement once our website launches and once our newsletter launches as well. To read the newsletter, you will obviously just have to subscribe, and then you get a free download of the newsletter.
It won't as a
PDF.
We're trying not to make this cost anything, so don't be like weird out like, oh my god,
yes,
it's gonna be like $10 for a new. No. Just it'll be free. Everything will be free. We just want to, as a thank you to everyone who's been downloading, who's been watching on YouTube, just like a thank you to you guys, and just to give you a little more of the Courier 13 podcast into your lives in different formats.
Yes,
I think that's our goal. That's what we want to do. Daniela, do you have anything else that you want to say to our audience, to our lovely audience, even the ones from South Dakota? If you're from South Dakota, much love to you. Your state's a little jank, but much love to you. Still. I'm sorry. I keep digging a hole for us.
In South Dakota. I mean,
In
at
South
this
Dakota.
point,
Everyone
they'll
from South
sense you
Dakota
coming
hates
from
us.
a mile away.
Yeah,
From a
they'll be like-
mile away,
they'll be
they'll know
like-
you're coming.
If I decide to take a road trip through South Dakota, they'll be like, it'll be like a sixth
Tim.
sense. They're like, he's coming. He's coming.
He's coming. He's here.
He's here. That son of a bitch.
You'll see a pitchfork fly across the highway.
There'll be cornfields, and the literal children of the corn will come out of the cornfield.
Literally.
Like, murder me. Yeah.
Children of the corn, but
Yeah, I'm gonna stay
South
away from
Dakotans.
South Dakota. I'm not going to South Dakota. Fuck that.
yeah.
Fuck South Dakota.
I mean,
no, don't.
yeah,
I just said fuck South Dakota. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
yeah.
I'm not
At this point,
trying to
you
be so
even-
mean.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, thank you, Daniela. Thank you. This is, and again, I've said this already. Thank you so much. I can't tell you how much your presence on the podcast has expanded this podcast and has made it an even better product than what it was. Literally, this podcast used to just be me in my bedroom just talking to other film students who didn't know anything about life and anything. Now I feel much wiser, much more.
Yes.
More, wiser. I'd say is the right word.
Well, thank you for, I will always thank you for offering the position of co-host on this podcast.
Absolutely. No, it's been my pleasure. And I think that about wraps it up. I hope your family doesn't crucify you for everything that you got wrong about Mexican history. But,
if they don't do it now, they'll do it Christmas. So you might not see me for the year 2022. But
yes, I hope you make it out alive. See y'all later.